Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Power Block, episode 170. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
Hello, everybody. Will Nintendo ever make any mystery games anymore?
I mean, isn't one of those Professor Layton games coming out?
I mean, yeah, but I'm just like, I want a good old Hotel Dust mystery again.
Nobody wants that. You're the only one who wants that.
How dare you?
How's it going, Ed? How's your week going?
It's going great. Yeah, the life goes on, I would just say.
Life goes on.
Yes. Seeing more gray hairs in my head, and I really need a haircut so bad. One of my computers is still alive, but it's not showing a picture anymore. So I have to find a way to get that up so I can port some of my copy and paste some of my stuff to my external hard drive. I already did my music files and optional opinion stuff, but I need to get my pictures. Once I get all my pictures and everything, I can go and move on to my new computer that you guys probably be like, oh, the quality sounds better or looks better. Yeah, I'm using my backup computer that I had for about 2 years that I barely use. So now it's going to get some use out of it. So
I think it's time for you to upgrade a computer.
Well, I'm getting a backup to my backup. Actually, this computer that I'm using now was supposed to be my new computer for the one that just went not bye-bye, but like, okay, it's not doing it. I want to see if probably when I get paid again, if a USB cable could go into my computer to my TV, and if it shows, if I could just be like, okay, I could copy all this stuff down, and then I use that computer again. Just get my pictures and everything and be on my good merry way. So,
well, it happens, right?
Yes,
it happens.
Yeah. So, but life, like I said, life goes on. Well, how are you, Corey? How you feeling? How you doing, boss?
I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long week in a lot of areas of life, but like you said, life goes on, and trying to stay awake. And last night my daughter was really sick last night, and so we were trying to get her to go back to bed, but it was like 3 hours of she's just not feeling good, and like she wants to suck her thumb to comfort herself, but she can't breathe through her nose, so like all that drainage is kind of flown back into her nose and her nasal cavity and whatever, so like she can't breathe through her nose when she sucks her thumb, but then she cries because she can't suck her thumb, and it's just the whole thing. So
parenting.
We got some medicine from the store tonight. I messaged you to put the call out for questions tonight. So
yeah,
not tonight, but the next episode. So speaking of the next episode, by the way, what we're doing is 170. We're just gonna have a news focused episode, and then episode 171, which we're actually recording tomorrow night, will be an all question block episode, because I'm moving. As this posts, it'll be less than a week before I move. So we're recording a couple episodes this week, just so we don't miss a week. And I did order new soundproofing though. I'm very excited. It's not just like the $15 foam pieces that you get a 12-pack of. These are like real soundproof boards that are like 6 pieces cost $54. So,
ooh, goodness.
But I'm really excited to get that office squared away and a new podcasting space and everything, and I can finally be as energetic as I want to be instead of like, last week I kind of talked like I've been toning it down because behind this green screen behind me, if you're watching the video,
Hmm.
we share a wall. My kid and I share a wall, and she hasn't been sleeping well lately, so I've been having to try to keep it down, and I got rid of all the old soundproofing, so it's it's been fun.
Yes, it's been yes. I know that.
So,
Uh,
but yeah, it's been a weird week. It's been a kind of like an off week, but it's still I'm very excited for the future of this show and the NX show and everything that we kind of have planned and in the works. And you and I specifically have a couple things that we're prepping for the beginning of the year,
mhm.
and we want to get some of that content ready and rolling. And I know Jesse and I have talked about doing a few things also regarding the new
Yes.
stuff. So we want to do a Game Pass show, and I know you want to do the action, the stylized action show.
Well, no, I mean, like Kingdom Heart is just playing random games on hard.
Oh,
So,
well, yeah,
uh,
okay. I guess like your first one was DMC, so
DLC.
I just kind of like put two and two in a box. So,
Yes.
but yeah, that's really exciting. We got a lot coming, and I know Ray wants to do a couple things also. So we're man, we got a lot to do in about 6 weeks. So
Yes.
actually about 5 weeks because of next week I will not be doing anything. So, but anyways, if you're new to the show, welcome to Nintendo Power Block. Each week, Ed and I get together to talk about the world of Nintendo, including games we've been playing, news, analysis, rumors, and other shenanigans. You can find Nintendo Power Block on YouTube, Spotify, and your favorite podcast app every Saturday. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at CoreyNHD713. Ed is at that retro code. And check out our other podcasts and content. You can check out the NX show and Optional Opinion, and there's 2 more podcasts in the works. So for the NX project. So I'm eagerly anticipating the reveal of everything because we're not Nintendo Power Block specifically. We were going to talk about it on the episode that's posting next week for Nintendo Power Block a little bit, but we have to delay the reveal because we are not all going to be together on the next couple episodes of the NX show. So
Great.
it's going to be about 2 or 3 weeks before we can actually do that or find time to announce it. But it's exciting. I've said that last week and the week before and the week before, so it's going to be fun. We speaking of exciting, we are also giving away Pokemon for Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
We're giving away Pokemon Sword and Shield. You can enter up to 4 times by each of the following. You can screenshot your podcast subscription, review, and rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. 5-star reviews are the best. The NX YouTube subscription, and a Mixer or Twitch follow. Then you can send us an email of your screenshots to nintendopowblock@gmail.com and tell us where you listen to us and what you like about the show. The winner will be drawn on Thursday, November 14th, so get your entries in. We're still going to pick a winner that day, and I will email the winner that day. But since we're recording that episode early, unless you just want to draw it tomorrow or when we record it.
Nope, we're going to take time. We're going to
Okay.
give people
Yeah,
a chance.
I want to get people to get their entries in, and you know, I want people to get their entries in, and we'll announce the winner on the following episode also, just in case you are the winner and you don't get the email right away. So we'll get we'll make sure to make it right with everybody. I didn't realize that the giveaway was on the week that I was moving. To be fair, when we announced the giveaway, I didn't know I was moving. So
that is true. Very true.
It's all just kind of happening so fast. This move is, I mean, my wife brought it up to me. She's like, "You realize 10 days ago we didn't even know we were moving, and now we're moving in less than 6 days." So, I mean, this weekend it's going to be a lot of packing and a lot of taking small stuff over there and just making sure everything is ready to go. So I'm very excited for the new podcast space, though, Ed.
Yes, I can't wait to see it.
Also, if the next time you come visit, you'll actually have a proper place to like sleep instead of, on an air mattress in the middle of a room.
Well, I will be there next year in September. So I am getting ready for things like that. It's literally going to be interesting next year. I'm planning a lot of things, and yes,
yeah,
can't wait. Just can't wait.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's. I want to address some things before we move forward with this episode. I realize we've been kind of doing the same kind of show, for 170 episodes, right? And next week's going to be a little bit different. But when we come back, like when we come back from after next week and everything, like I kind of want to get into a new flow for this show.
Okay.
Just because like the energy levels will be different.
Yes.
I want to have a more, you and I have kind of talked about this too a lot. I want to have a more casual style show. Mm-hmm. Like we're still going to talk about the news and answer questions and stuff, but like I kind of like I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, like the Game Informer show does a good job of this, and now the Min Max show does a good job of kind of being a more casual style show, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I also like the way that Easy Allies does stuff, right? Like they have a really cool flow to their show, and like not that I don't like our show, right? Like I love Nintendo Power Block, but like I kind of have noticed a little bit that it kind of falls into the same kind of
formulaic
style thing that other kind of like quote unquote independent podcasts do to just I want us to be more casual, and I want us to get more guests on, right? We talked about that before too.
Yes.
And so like we're gonna start doing that after next week as well. So it's still gonna be me and Ed talking about Nintendo. Don't worry, guys. It's not like it's gonna change, but like I just want to have a different routine and a new flow to the show, and kind of make it more casual. It's supposed to be a fun show. I don't want it to be boring and formulaic for everybody, because I want it to stand out, especially with everything that we're launching. I want it to stand out and not just have people listen to us another podcast talk about Nintendo for the umpteenth time that week. So the next couple weeks after next, like we're gonna try to smooth some things out, try a new formula, and you know what, if it doesn't work, if people don't like it, we'll come back to the old one, but we just kind of want to shake it up a little bit.
Yes.
So but speaking of shaking it up, we're going to get into the cartridge slot. The cartridge slot is where we talk about what we've been playing. So Ed, I'm going to shoot it to you. What are you playing?
Okay, so the only game I literally playing on Switch is Luigi's Mansion. I've been putting in a lot of work in this game. So creative, still so funny. I can't believe that I actually died like twice in the game. And it's kind of just like since I've been playing mostly in handheld at work, I haven't really had a chance to play it on my big screen TV a lot. Even though that's my goal is to do that, because I really want to finish this game. and it really has me hooked. It really draws me in. I like how creative some of the puzzles are, and the ghosts that I fight, getting them all sucked in and just like slamming them and everything. It's just really cool about this game. And I like the VR mode or the VR kind of communicator that you have in the game. It's really cool. And I kind of feel like this is definitely worth the $60 for it. Is it up there for Game of the Year? I It's definitely a nomination. It's definitely a nomination. And
that's what I'm hearing. Like Joey Ferris, he's a YouTuber. You should check him out at Ferris Wheel Pro on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff. But he was talking about Luigi's Mansion and how, he kind of expected it to be like kind of a mediocre game, and now it's like one of his top games of the year, and it might be his game of the year. So
yeah, which it's so funny that I know this is stupid Game of the Year talk, but
Game of the Year talk is not stupid. You watch your mouth.
I mean, stupid in the way that we keep repeating it over and over. Like Nintendo's taking a lot of top spots for Game of the Year, and that hasn't happened in a long time. And I think this year people get what Nintendo and who Nintendo is when it comes to video games. It's nothing like cinematic. It's not over budget. It don't need 18,000 patches. It doesn't need too much online functionality to actually be a game and stuff. It really has some merit and payoff when you pick up a Nintendo game on Nintendo Switch. People who want the physical versions, we always say they would do everything to get their physical versions, and it hasn't been this way since almost the Super Nintendo years in that era. And so it's kind of good to see that the Wii U, GameCube, and 64, that handhelds and all of this, that people understand who Nintendo is. When Nintendo said they stopped trying to compete with everybody, they literally stopped trying to compete with everybody. People now kind of understand that if I get a game from Nintendo, just the first party themselves, I see the polish and I see the quality that equals the fun that they put into it.
Did you see what Digital Foundry said about it?
I was watching part of it, and they was like they were like super impressed with it.
Yeah, they said it was almost equivalent to playing a CG movie, which is very interesting.
Yes.
Just because of how good it looks. I've watched some Let's Plays on it. I want to play Luigi's Mansion. I can't play it till my birthday because of we're moving. So
yeah,
game purchases are being put on hold until probably till Tokyo Mirage Sessions comes out for Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there's a lot coming out the rest of the year anyway that I want to play. I mean, I want to play that new Star Wars game, and Hanukkah and Christmas are coming up at some point. So maybe I'll get something there to hold me over, but game purchases are on hold for now. So
I trust me, I literally understand. I truly understand.
So,
there's some.
But what you're saying about Luigi's Mansion just makes me want to play it even more. So, I mean, I'll have more to say about it in a couple weeks because I do know I'm getting it for my birthday. But sorry, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just saying that when you said holding off game purchases, there's Sony, I kind of been denying, but there are some games that I need to get on that system and everything. But this year, I just think for Nintendo, like I can't think of a game that was a letdown or nobody was hyped for. Whether it did pay off or not, it really felt that Nintendo came through another year where you really didn't expect any of their big triple titles that people really wanted. They were able to bring enough content for the system. It and I'm gonna turn it over to you, Corey. Like I said, literally watch from the February conference of 2017 of the Nintendo Switch discussion, like the reveal and like in depth, and then just see month by month the progression of the system, and just see how from people say it don't have the big games, it don't have the EA or Activision games, and how all of that with indie, with first party and some parts of some triple A games, how all that talk and judgment has kind of turned around and disappeared. Like it's so funny to see how all of this turned around. Whether we got some games for that system and we didn't get some games, it's surprising that Nintendo just kind of leads in everything. Like, of course, we won't sell numbers, but I'm just like, if a system is keeping your interest over and over again, week by week, month by month, and not saying the podcast form, I think Nintendo has been the only one really to to do it ever since Switch been released.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, even this year alone, like you see the releases they've been cranking out, whether it's a decent Wii U port or even into like some of the games now. Like you look at it started with probably Mario Maker, right? Like the summer rush of games like Mario Maker, and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and then Fire Emblem, and then Astral Chain, and then Daemon X Machina, and Luigi's Mansion. And that's not even including the third-party Russia games, right? Like these are just the Nintendo published games, and we've gotten a lot this year alone, and Link's Awakening, another one, and Pokemon. Like there's so many first-party games that like it's almost sad to like ignore the third party games now, right? Like, I mean, you got The Witcher, you have Overwatch, you have Hellblade came out this year on Switch. Like, and it's just the Switch has done a really good job of pacing big releases, but also like letting you know there's more to come. So. Yeah, man, I'm excited to get my hands on Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 1 is one of my favorite games of all time on the GameCube. So
GameCube, yeah,
yeah. Is that it? Is that?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, aside from my Fire Emblem grind that I'm still on, and my Tetris obsession again. It's back, like full on. My Tetris obsession is back. I can't stop.
Yes.
But it's weird because Tetris is like one of those games that relaxes me after like the last couple weeks or so. It's just one of those games that relaxes me. It's just really odd to say, but it's like comfort food, and that and between Tetris and the Outer Worlds this week, it's just been like like not to like talk about another systems game real quick, but the Outer Worlds is coming to Switch, but that game is not incredibly difficult. It's just like a comfort, like go here, press X, talk to this person, go get the thing, bring the thing back to somebody, complete the quest, kind of like it's a very checklisty game, and it's just kind of comforting to play. Those two games have been super comforting, but last night I decided, I'm like, what's a game that I've been wanting to play that I haven't gotten to play a lot or at all right? So I popped in Dragon Quest 11. I played
Yes.
the first. Well, it's probably
For
like the
Switch or PS4?
first Switch.
Okay.
It's the demo. I downloaded the
Oh,
demo because
I need. I heard it's a new demo.
it's
That's out.
it's the beginning of the game. It's the whole beginning of the game,
Oh,
and
it's the new update one.
yeah, and you can
Okay.
carry your progress over to the
To the full
full
game.
game. So that's why I started it because I was like, if your progress can't carry over, I don't know if I really want to start it, right? But it does, and that game is so. It's not what I was expecting, like in the best possible way. Like
Yes.
it feels like the old like I would say like PS2 era JRPGs mixed with Breath of the Wild. Like
Yeah.
that's what it feels like. And so like I've explored every little nook and cranny. I like the opening cutscene is beautiful. It's beautiful. Like it's one of the best. I was like, man, I can't believe this cutscene is like running on my Switch right now.
When the mother is running with the child to
Yeah,
take.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
That.
it's just the environments are beautiful. Like even in that opening cutscene when you see the baby floating on the water, and then like
Yes.
the old guy is kind of fishing, right? And he sees the baby floating in the water, and he like picks up the baby, and
It's
like the water is beautiful. Like the environments are just so vibrant and colorful, and like I don't really know how to say it, but it's very like hopeful. I know that's like
yes.
a weird word to
It's
use, but it's like
it's that traditional JRPG story time fantasy with
yeah,
that intro.
yeah,
Like that just looking at it, like, because I have it on PS4 and I watched it and I'm just like, I can't believe they're starting off like this. Like, this is kind of what, not the full premise, but this is how old school RPGs, JRPGs used to start off with. And I'm like seeing it in this animated, like, cinematic. It's
hmm
just so cool, dude.
yeah,
Like, it was so cool to see something that old school be used in modern gaming.
yeah. And so like I realistically, it's probably like the first half hour of the game, but I literally like walked around everywhere and like looked at every nook and cranny for stuff. And
Yeah.
so also the one thing that really hit me in this game, like in a weird way, like when you start up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and everybody
Yes.
is all of a sudden British, you're looking at this
Yes.
beautiful anime game expecting like anime sounding characters, like very
Uh-huh.
over the top optimistic sounding, and they're all British. Well, the first character you meet in this game, like your first party member, Gemma,
Uh-huh.
when you find her scarf, she's incredibly Irish. No, like stereotypically over the top Irish, and it
Oh
just
wow.
it like, but like in an endearing way, right? Not like I'm making fun of her or anything, but like that's just the way it was like. I don't know. It just like it really threw me off because I was not expecting it. And but she's like the first real party member you get, and like the first quest you have is to climb to the top of the mountain. I think it's
Yes.
Tor. I think is what it's called, and
Mhm.
you get that like the dog is in your party too, which is
Uh-huh. Yeah.
really like it's cute. Like that the dog is the thing that throws me off about the dog though is like it has human eyes. The dog has human eyes instead of just like a cute dog face. Like it just the eyes just throw me off.
It did throw me off. It's very anime-ish, and probably because I'm used to seeing dogs like that.
I get it, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not a big deal. It was just like really threw me off. I'm like, whoa. But it like you climb to the top of the mountain, you kind of battle your way through, and
Hmm.
you fight the slimes, and when you figure out that like you're like the hero, right? Like because you have that mark on your hand and whatever. And the cutscene at the top is very cool, where you're trying to save Gemma, and that bird comes flying down, and you kind of fight it off. Well, you don't really fight it off, but like a big bolt of lightning comes down because the symbol on your hand is glowing. It's very, very JRPG. And then you go back into town, and your mom is like sad that you're leaving, but then she insists you eat dinner first. And like it kind of like almost reminded me of Pokemon's opening a little bit, when you like go to leave and your mom stops you and gives you stuff. So I really like it. I think as soon as I can, I'm gonna get the full game.
Okay.
I really like it. I think it's like exactly the comforting JRPG that I need. Like, I probably won't play it much on the TV because I know it's very grindy and very old school JRPG, right? But the cutscenes I want to watch on the TV, and it's something I can probably play and grind out while I'm sitting on the couch and watching TV with Sana or whatever. So, but yeah, yes. I really enjoyed it, surprisingly. Like, I was actually very happy with how surprised I was with the game.
Yes, I fear though, for me personally, that when I get through 11, will it outbeat Dragon Quest 8? It's so weird, and this is just a personal thing for me, because Dragon Quest 8, you talking about the voice acting, like the Irish, like the comedy and the voice acting in 8 is so top notch. It's crazy. Anyone who has a 3DS, go play 8. Download it, find your used copy, whatever. Dragon Quest 8 is so good, and I feel like I'm gonna get into 11 and be like, I don't want to play anything else, because I have to treat a Dragon Quest game like I treat Persona game. Like, each day I have to play without a shadow of a doubt. 2 to 3 hours I have to play that game, because you're talking about grinding, dude. Dragon Quest 8 took me a month and a half, almost the same as Persona 3 FES. Like, it's going to take a while, and I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah. So I like it a lot. If you're into old school JRPGs, I highly recommend it. It's very good. Also, the not that I was like expecting it to look bad or anything, but it looks a lot better than I expected it to on Switch, right? Like, I don't know, sometimes I just feel like you kind of fall into this thing where Nintendo games will always look good on Nintendo hardware because of the art styles they choose, or just because they know how to use the hardware better or whatever. But
yeah,
and you kind of fall into like, okay, third-party games look good, like they look okay to good, but not as good as the Nintendo polished games, right? And right. So I was just kind of surprised at how good it looked. It looks amazing. So
I want to hear that soundtrack. I literally want to hear, like, I want to hear the soundtrack on PS4, but I want to hear that live orchestra soundtrack on Switch, because I haven't picked it up yet, and it's on my list to get.
Yeah, so Dragon Quest 11 is very good. I also I loaded up a couple other games I wanted to like see what I wanted to play, because like it's been so long since I really just sat down and played a game, when not like not tried to stream it, not tried to make content out of it, right? Like, it's just been a long time since I've done that, and we're gonna be doing so much of that in the next few weeks. I want to sit down and play a game and just, get into something that's weird and cool at the same time. And so, like,
yes,
I loaded up Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, and I was like,
nice.
I don't really, I want to play Odyssey. I don't want to play 3. I loaded up Hellblade, and like I wanted to get through, but like I was just like, I don't really feel like doing this right now. I played a little bit of Ukulele because I want to play Impossible Lair, which I hear is very good.
Yeah, I want to get back to Ukulele for Xbox.
Yeah, because it's on Game Pass now, by the way. If anybody wants to play Ukulele, it's on.
I will say this, and I own this on Switch and Xbox. I really want to go back to Okami HD, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking of streaming it on Mixer, but I want to also play it on Switch.
I was going to start it up, but then I remembered how long that intro is, and I'm like, I don't have 20 minutes to waste on this intro right now.
It's I mean it is kind of long. I don't know if they updated where you could skip it or anything, but
Well, I don't want to skip it. That's the thing. I want to like take my time, and Okami's a game that I've always wanted to finish, and I never
mhm,
finished, and so that's like one of the shames on my backlog right now. Is Okami.
it's 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 one of the games I took a full on like a week full on vacation to play Okami HD.
It's a
I mean Okami on PS2.
it's a great game. I mean,
It really is.
Okami
Yeah.
is a great game. It's a lot of people say it's the best Zelda game Nintendo didn't make, and I don't know if I would go that far, but it is a very very beautiful game. It's a very great game, and
Yes.
you should definitely check that out too. But then I started loading up all these weird like tactical RPGs like Mario plus Rabbids,
I need to
which
get back to
like I kind of like want to keep going, but I also kind of want to restart because I'm just so confused at like what weapons I have and
Can I can I tell you a funny story? Sorry to interrupt. I was watching our E3 is it 2017 conference when we were just talking about Mario Rabbids. I'm just like,
and like
wow.
yeah, wow.
Our NGR so I went back and just like I don't know. I've been going back to E3 watching our content and watching other content just be like, goodness, look at the games that we have endured and that we have played. And Mario Rabbids was definitely one of them.
Yeah, dude, we've done so much. I'm going back through the YouTube page because we made the NX Projects YouTube page out of the old Nintendo Power Block YouTube page, and like I'm going back and like I want to make sure everything is uniform before we like kind of launch, right? So I'm changing some thumbnails and some descriptions and everything. Like, it's not like something I'm taking a ton of time on, but like it's something I am gonna finish eventually, and kind of redo some of the thumbnails and stuff. And dude, we've done so much for Nintendo Power Block alone.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, we've done so much. I mean,
But
I'm not
that's
complaining. It's just like you sit there and you're like, man, we've done so much.
but that's the work that we put in. That is the work that we put in. Yeah, oh, dang it. Now I want to play Mario Rabbids. Like, I truly love that. I might have to do what you do, Curry, and like literally start that game or start a new game, like a new save file, and just play that game once again.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a good game.
yeah, but like, yeah, Okami HD just literally been on my heart, just been on my mind playing it.
Yeah. But that's all I've been playing. That's just kind of been working a lot and kind of changing some stuff up and prepping some stuff and really kind of getting our 2020 content launched down and that's kind of what I've been doing. So
Yes,
I also played a little bit of Smash. Uh, I
which
I wanted like I wanted to play some as Banjo and stuff, so I played a little bit of Banjo and like I like the way Banjo plays,
hmm
but I still keep going back to King DDD, which is like it started as a joke and now I really can't play as anybody else. Like it just feels weird to play as somebody else.
that's me and Zero Suit Samus. I can't play anybody else but her.
Like
I love
it
her.
started as a joke, like to play as DDD because he's so stupid. Like he's just so stupid. He's a giant penguin with a hammer. Like how stupid is that? But then like I was like started learning his moves and started like really paying attention to how like because he's slow, right? Like he's slow. He's
Yes.
not like you're not moving anywhere fast. But so I like started really learning his movements and like trying to learn how to. Okay, so he's slow, so I need to learn how to time his slow attacks to hit people when they like, because he's actually pretty decent against fast characters, as
Uh-huh.
long as you like kind of know and anticipate where they're gonna be. And
Yes.
that's why I like him. Like I'm taking on, and not that this is like anything that I know people who play Smash regularly would probably laugh at this, but I'm taking on two computer two computer characters at level 10 and winning with not ease, but I'm winning like a lot. So I mean that I know that's nothing really like important, but it's kind of cool that I this joke has kind of become my main, and it's kind of nice. So, all right, let's start with these news bits, because we've got five kind of not big stories, but it's actually
Uh-huh.
been really slow in terms of Nintendo news. I was kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel while I was getting the show ready. Thank God they had that Terry Bogard Smash video.
Can we start off with that? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we are.
I I love that direct. I
I
love
didn't watch it because like I'm not watching 45 minutes on a character I won't play.
but you know what? I think you should, because Sakurai educates. He breaks down so much stuff. And Smash is only for good boys and good girls.
Yeah, I saw that because people wanted what's her name, May or
My
Maya or something.
yeah yeah.
And like
But
for those who don't know, she's the SNK fighting character with like the low cut robe, and like she kind of like she's bouncy. We'll leave it at
yes,
that.
but I what people thought was just like the way that everything breaks down, and you won't even realize that it's 45 minutes. Like he get Sakurai broke everything down to a historic moment, and you kind of, and maybe this applies to me, you kind of got to realize how Fred Furry and the SNK brand came about and why he put it in Smash. And then he gives a nice gameplay demo while commenting and stuff. And it's just, you sit down and you marvel at it. Like, it makes you feel like a kid with him. Like his his hype and his like delivery just really makes you like really enjoy it. And plus he has a little crowd laughing along with them. Like it, and it's so good. It's just so good. I just say go and watch it. Watch it if you want to fall asleep or zone out or anything.
If you want to
But
fall
it's
asleep.
but but he, when he was talking about how Fatal Fury started in 1991, I was 11 years old, and I remember playing Fatal Fury in Mississippi while visiting my family at a gas station slash laundromat. Like, that was my first time introduced to SNK cabinet. I knew SNK because of Akira Warriors on Nintendo, but like playing one of their games, I never knew what Neo Geo was, and that was literally my first entry. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I remember playing this game. It's just so good. Go watch it.
It's so good. I'm gonna read this Game Informer article real quick. Terry Bogard is now available in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is why I waited like 10 minutes for the update. Terry Bogard, the baseball cap loving combatant from SNK's Fatal Frame, no, not Fatal Frame, Fatal Fury and King of Fighters series, is now available as DLC fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. By the way, their typo, not mine. Nintendo also released update 6.0.0, which brings hero balance tweaks, item adjustments, and new spirits in the vault. Battle Arena also received a number of new features, including an elite online arena type, the ability to send set messages while inside the arena. Here's the complete rundown of changes. Click here for more hero tweaks, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read these tweaks. So Terry is back, and did you see when somebody was talking about Capcom versus SNK, and I think they asked the Street Fighter, somebody from Street Fighter, whoever the team lead is for Street Fighter, and they asked them if they would ever let Street Fighter characters into Mortal Kombat, and they said no, that it wouldn't be a good fit.
Yeah.
But they did talk a lot about how they would want to make another Capcom versus SNK, and how this looks like that may be the first step into that happening. So
Yeah, I seen Capcom versus SNK. It's always been a fan thing for Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter to come together and fight, but Mortal Kombat is a little bit basic, and Street Fighter is more technical, meaning that depending on what version of Street Fighter that you're going to play or take that character from, you're able to change up the combos and the fighting strategy and everything, because there's different moves. Like, you can't play Ryu for Street Fighter 2 like you play him in Third Strike or Street Fighter 4. Like, all of those changes, where pretty much if you play Sub-Zero, if you know the basis from Sub-Zero from the first Mortal Kombat, if all of that stuff still works, there's really no challenge. I mean, there's combos and dial-in combos that you could put in, but if everything still feels like the first and second Mortal Kombat, there's really no challenge to it, where it just wouldn't work for those characters, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you are excited to see Terry Bogard, you can play as him in Smash. Our next story comes from IGN. I'm jumping down to the fourth story on our list here, Ed, just because they kind of go together. Was this the right one?
Anyways,
50 SNK tracks are being added to Super Smash Brothers. The update that added Terry Bogard is also adding 50 really cool tracks from SNK games.
Yes.
So it I'm going to jump down to where it starts talking about the music. It says, as for the music, Sakurai said he sent SNK a list of 50 tracks in hopes of 10 or 20 of them to be approved, saying that he was surprised when he received permission to use all 50 he requested. The tunes are from various SNK games and franchises beyond Fatal Fury and the King of Fighters, like Art of Fighting, Samurai Showdown, Metal Slug, and others. Sakurai said he doesn't think Nintendo will ever be able to include this much music in one update again. So that's really cool, because like not a lot of people, at least, you know, outside of the like maybe some hardcore arcade early 90s arcade people, like really, especially now, like you don't know SNK anymore, and like Nintendo and Sakurai have done such a amazing job of making Smash Brothers Ultimate like the ultimate museum for games, right?
Yes. I was talking to one of my Twitter friends. I was just like, please, can I have this as a physical soundtrack? Just these 50 tracks. I don't know if Nintendo or Bandai Namco rearranged them, because I know they like a lot of the tracks they kind of recompose to fit the style of the game. Okay. This composition that they use like throughout the direct, that's going to also be in Smash. I would pay $25 right now for a physical copy of just the SNK music. Dude is so good. Like, you really don't notice, like you said, you really don't notice SNK if you haven't grown up with them. But just hearing the music, and I hope people do, if you do get Terry Bogard, I hope people do listen to these tracks, because the shade to Square Enix, they were just like, Square Enix only gave them 2 songs. I'm like, what the heck? Like, how? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you will want that game, or you would want Square Enix to be represented right when it comes to music. Final Fantasy VII has a ton of music that should have been in Smash.
I mean, Final Fantasy in general has a ton of music that would be perfect.
Yes,
Like, even they would be perfect for Smash, right? Like, it would just
yes.
be like, hey, remember that track from Final Fantasy VIII, or even like tracks from that aren't even Final Fantasy really, like Bravely Default or Octopath
Sticking them in
Traveler,
a
or
Chrono Trigger.
I mean, even the Dragon Quest soundtrack. There's only like a couple songs from Dragon Quest, right? Like, it's just
Mhm.
it's kind of a shame that they're doing that, right? Like Square's doing that,
Mhm.
but also it's cool to see like, well, all these other games like Namco, like Bandai Namco and SNK and Capcom and Sega are allowing these awesome tracks to be available. So look,
They like,
it's on Square now, right? Like, I don't want to like dog on Square because like I
mhm.
think Cloud and Smash is a big deal, right? Like, I really do think that that's a pretty big deal, but at the same time it's like you gotta do more, right? If you're gonna don't just like half do it. You gotta be all in, just
right.
be all in on it. This is a fun thing. You could just be part of the fun instead of like, and I know they're not like making a ton of money off Cloud or anything, but like, this is just a celebration of games. Just be the celebration. So
Yes, the
that's
biggest crossover in history.
yeah. So, and like, you're never gonna get this again, so why not like just do it?
Exactly.
That's my thing. But that's just me. So,
But yeah, uh, thanks,
but
SNK.
yeah, SNK, really cool. All 50 tracks he requested. That's amazing. All right, we're gonna move on to this next story here. Last week we talked about, on the NX show at least, we talked about BlizzCon. We missed BlizzCon by one day when we recorded last week, but BlizzCon unveils Overwatch 2 for Switch. No word on if Diablo 4 is coming yet, but Blizzard did say that Overwatch 2 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to read this article from Game Informer. Overwatch game director Jeff Kaplan closed out BlizzCon's opening ceremony with a lengthy look at Overwatch 2, the sequel that has both been long rumored and more recently the subject of numerous leaks. Overwatch 2 is a full sequel that offers new PvP modes and a new PvE component that is divided into two sections: story experience and hero missions. Our first look at Overwatch 2 came from a new short film called 0 Hour, in which we see Winston, Mei, Tracer, and Echo, who isn't a known playable hero yet, which by all accounts Echo will be the 33rd hero, I want to say.
Hmm.
Reassemble the Overwatch team to take down a new threat by Null's sector. The war begins in Paris, and then after the film ends, transitions to Rio de Janeiro, the location of the first mission of Overwatch 2's new story experience. Yes, Overwatch 2 now has a dedicated PvE story mode. Hero missions are another PvE avenue of play that gives player the chance to play as heroes with new abilities. The heroes themselves have been slightly redesigned to look a bit sleeker than before. Kaplan confirmed Sojourn is a new playable hero. She first appeared in the Archives missions in Overwatch 1, but little else is known about her. They're doing a really interesting thing where Overwatch 1 and 2 will have a shared PvP experience,
Hmm.
and all your cosmetics from Overwatch 1 will carry over to Overwatch 2, depending on what platform you're playing on. So, I mean, you can't, if you're playing Overwatch 2 on Xbox One, you can't take your Switch cosmetics from 1 to 2 on Xbox One, right? So, anyways, Overwatch 2's PvP mode features a new core game mode called Push, which will be featured in quick play, competitive play, and will also be played in Overwatch League matches. Push tasks the warring teams to escort a robot down a path. The team that pushes it the furthest wins. So, really cool that they're not really splitting the player base. If you don't want Overwatch 2 and still want to play competitive stuff, you can keep Overwatch 1. It seems more like an expansion, like we talked about on the NX show last week, than a true sequel. But PvE stuff, more story stuff, Overwatch like that. The story in Overwatch is always really interesting to see when they release bits and pieces of it. So, what do you think about Overwatch 2?
I was mad at this whole thing
Of course you were.
because I'm just like, why not just announce this with everything else? Why treat it separately? Like, if it kind of feel like, oh, we didn't forget the Switch. We just want to make sure that this the Nintendo Switch is getting it too. It's just like you had a big conference. This should have been announced all along with everything else.
It was. They just it just wasn't. They announced the platforms afterwards. They didn't announce platforms right away because this is probably going to be a next gen game, like on PS5 and Xbox Scarlet as well as current gen. And I think they were just kind of they didn't really announce the platforms until after. I don't think so.
But it was literally a day after they announced it for PS4, Xbox, and PC. So you can't not say you, Corey, or anything. You can't say that
Ed's yelling at me.
You can't say that we had plans also to bring this game for the Switch when it really felt like you didn't really want to bring it, but you treated this just like Overwatch 1 got treated. It was thrown out there, okay, and then moved on. Okay, here's Overwatch 2. Yeah, we're making sure that's coming to Switch, and then y'all moved on and focus on Diablo 4 or whatever. And it's just like, you are on the main stage. You already know what controversy and stuff that you guys are dealing with. Excite people or get people to kind of not forgive you, but kind of make people worth their while they're there by announcing it for all platforms: PS4, Xbox One, PC, Switch, next gen platforms. Just announce that. What is the harm of this being announced? Nobody is stealing the thunder of that game got announced for Switch. Everybody would have been like, "Oh, that's cool that Switch is being included."
Yeah, I don't know. I know like a lot of people are playing Overwatch on Switch right now. But I think if you're really going to be competitive in Overwatch, you're playing on PC and don't really care. And I think, I'm not saying like you shouldn't be excited for this game on Switch or anything, but like Blizzard's audience is on PC, right? They've been there forever. It's only recently that the console gaming community has really gotten into Blizzard games, right? Like Overwatch and Diablo 3. But I do agree that if you're going to if you're going to release it on Switch, don't treat it as an afterthought.
Yes.
I kind of feel like, and Blizzard's not the only one that does this, right? Like I feel like a lot of companies do this where Switch is just kind of like the afterthought console, and they're like, okay, let's make sure it works on these platforms, and then we'll port it to Switch later and make a few dollars off of it. I think really the only companies that have really like taken advantage of Switch as like almost a primary platform are like, I think Bethesda has done a great job of
yes,
and I know games have been late on Switch compared to the other consoles, but I mean at least they're like announcing the games are coming, right? At least as of late. Like Wolfenstein Youngblood was announced or was released on the same day. I know Doom's probably going to be delayed a little bit, but they at least have a team that
Doom Eternal is delayed already.
Yeah, I know. I meant the Switch version delayed even longer, right? Like,
longer.
But
okay.
At least they have a team that is respected for porting games on it,
yes,
right? In Panic Button. I think, and I know like Microsoft's games have been kind of making their way over, but at least they're having they're taking care of the Switch audience instead of like, you know, I just feel like some of these games that have come over, like look at Assassin's Creed 3, right? Like
Hmm.
that was a game that a lot of people kind of complained about. I mean, among other things, like not looking the best on Switch, right? It was kind of muddy and everything. And Saints Row the Third was also another game that was just kind of like shoved out on Switch and didn't really look very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I I get it. Like I do kind of get it, but at the same time, like I'm just tired of like the Switch being thought of as an afterthought because a lot of people primarily play on Switch. I mean, it's not a majority of people, but there's still a lot of people that primarily play their games on Switch. Like I do, right? I If
I
it's
do.
like unless it's on Game Pass or something, my primary system is Switch. It has been and it will continue to be because of the
And
situations I find myself in wanting to play games.
and and these, like I said, these companies got to be paying attention to social media, that everybody's taking pictures, or some people are taking pictures that they got that version on Switch. I would say this: it's good if you want to watch a stream of a game on another platform, but it's always better to actually see if one person is playing this game on Xbox, but five people have just bought that same game on Switch, and you're seeing mostly of that and the talk about that. The purchasing part is more important than just seeing that one player play it
Hmm.
or a few players play it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. No, I get it. So, but yeah, Overwatch 2 coming to Switch. Probably not going to be the platform I play it on initially, but I would I would like to have Overwatch on Switch. I really would, but I already
hmm
own it three other places, right? I don't need it. I'm trying to be better at being picky on the games I buy and where I buy them, right? And like the next story is a perfect example of a company I will support on Switch until they are no longer around or they get scooped up by someone else. Our next story. Sorry, I know we could talk about this all day, but we've had this discussion 100 times, and like I'm sure we'll
yeah,
have it 100 more times. This story comes from Nintendo Life. No, Playtonic Games is not making a new Banjo Kazooie or joining Microsoft. Playtonic shares an official statement. I will support Playtonic Games on Switch every time,
yes,
and that new ukulele game looks amazing. Like
I
I
I
want it so bad.
I would support Playtonic.
Yeah.
That's you know,
I think Playtonic is a really special developer. Like I get that ukulele was kind of like their first foray out into like their independence and making an interesting game that kind of mimicked the games that you loved, right?
hmm
But I really feel like what I've seen of the Impossible Lair is this is the game they should stick with, and it really shines in what they're trying to make, right? Uh, so, over the past few days, you may have stumbled across rumors and speculation suggesting ukulele developer Playtonic Games is either working on a new Banjo Kazooie title or that it has been acquired by Microsoft. Neither of these things are true. The rumors appear to have started soon after it was revealed that former Rare artist Ed Bryan has joined Playtonic. Amazingly, a large part of speculation was centered around Bryan's tweets, in which he shared a photo of a Microsoft bag. It says his sorry, my throat is kind of dry. His tweet says, "Well, I never really had any plans to use this again, and it was a Microsoft bag." So here's Playtonic's official statement. It says, "Hey everyone, we wanted to address the speculation currently swarming our mentions. We hate to be the bearers of bad news that isn't what you want to hear, but we thought it best to come out and say we aren't working on a new Banjo Kazooie game and we remain an independent studio. While we would love to work with the Bear and Bird again, the ball isn't in our court. With that said, we are keen to continue progressing as a studio and carrying the experience of games we worked on, old and new, to create new characters and adventures for you to hopefully love. We're sorry if this isn't what you wanted to hear from us. At first, we found it amusing that Ed Bryan's bag is being used as serious evidence, but we reckon it wouldn't be fair if we didn't set the record straight. Love Playtonic games. So,
Yeah, they don't need to be owned by Microsoft. They need to be independent. I don't think, they left Rare for this very reason. Why would they want to go back to Microsoft?
well,
Or
I
be
think,
under control under Microsoft, I should say.
well, here's the thing. When they left Rare, right, Rare was making avatar items and helping with other assets for other games, right? They like in the first major game that Rare made was Sea of Thieves, right? After that,
Yes.
and they formed Playtonic kind of in the early stages of the Sea of Thieves stuff, and they didn't want to make Sea of Thieves. They wanted to make platformers and that kind of thing. So, I give them credit for coming out and kind of stomping this rumor, but I would like
Yes.
just the way Ukulele played and the world that they built. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them make a proper Banjo game, but also Ukulele. Those are some really cool characters, and that's a really cool world. So, even if you followed their Kickstarter for Ukulele, the first one, like just the weekly art they would tweet out and stuff, like it was just really cool
Yes.
to watch them build a new kind of world and new characters. So,
Yeah.
all right, our last story. Speaking of Xbox games, The Outer Worlds. This comes from Tech Radar. The Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch will arrive by early 2020. The Outer Worlds may not have a release date on Nintendo Switch, but it just got a release window. During a company investor call, Private Division announced the Outer Worlds would be launching on Nintendo Switch by the end of the company's fiscal year, which is March 31st of next year. The game has already launched on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and it's included in Microsoft's Xbox Games Pass. It's Xbox Game Pass, Tech Radar. Come on. It launched on October 25th for those platforms, but Nintendo was left out cold. Since its launch, Outer Worlds has garnered positive response from critics. It carried a strong Fallout feel, which shouldn't be too surprising since that's sort of what Obsidian does. The studio behind the popular Fallout New Vegas, they are engaging in whatever. I get it. So, the port of the Outer Worlds could be a boon for the Nintendo Switch, adding a big name catalog RPG already available on a portable console. But two of the most notable ports of years old titles are The Witcher 3 and Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Players should expect scaled back graphics for the Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch, as was the case for Skyrim and The Witcher. The game features lesser dazzlingly colored environments, and those sprawling landscapes are likely to present a challenge for the modest hardware of the Nintendo Switch. So, I mean, I get it. It's not going to look as good as it does on Xbox One X, but...
And this is the problem. Like,
Why
would you...
Problem?
So, you have Outer Worlds at the end of March, and of course you have Animal Crossing earlier. That's fine. But I'm just like, Last of Us 2 got pushed to April, right?
May.
Okay. So you got to have you got to make sure that people are still interested in the Outer Worlds when it comes out for Nintendo Switch.
I mean, I think they will be, because I mean, look.
But if everybody had their feel of it on PC and but PS4 and Xbox, I don't think people are going to have their feel. I think it's
how many people double dipped on The Witcher? How many people double dipped on Elder Scrolls? How many games have we double dipped on? Right, like
we double dipped.
People are going to double dip, and I think especially people who play this through Game Pass are going to want to support the developer.
Yes,
and double dip and buy it for Switch. Right, like I can't tell you how many games I've bought on Xbox and Switch. Doom, Wolfenstein, Hellblade, all Assassin's Creed 3. Like, I've bought in these games several times because I want these games on Switch. So
well, well, Obsidian has to go hard with a Nintendo Direct. They're now going to have to sell this because I'm
That's
not
good.
saying
I
that
mean, they
which
announced it.
which
They
it
announced
is.
it what in September that it was coming to Switch in that direct, right?
No, they didn't. No, they
Yeah, they did.
Outer West was it in Nintendo Direct?
Wasn't it? Or was it just its own separate video?
It was. I think it was his own separate video. Um, but it didn't. But it that didn't happen. It's weird on how it got announced for Switch. On how everything was done for it because I think there was a tweet out about it before they showed the video of it being announced. So that's why I kind of feel like they just gotta go hard on it. Like they really gotta promote this and they gotta ask the extra to the Switch. Like I feel like Outer Worlds needs to be made up for this time that is gonna pass. Cause I'm just like, you got two big games and people will skip Outer Worlds to get whatever is coming in April and definitely for The Last of Us 2. Like they will literally throw it, be like, oh, I already have my fun on it, and it's on Game Pass. Like if it's still on Game Pass by the time the Switch version comes out, nobody's gonna touch it. Nobody's gonna touch it.
I think people will buy it. I think enough people will buy it to warrant, you know, especially if even because like I think Microsoft wants this game to sell,
Hmm.
even though they're not publishing it. So I think
Yes.
they're going to push hard for this thing. Whether it's going to have DLC included or a couple of new weapons or updates or whatever. Like, I I think Microsoft looks at this as quote unquote free promotion for a new IP, right? And I
Yes.
think we talked a little bit about this on the NX show last week, if I recall correctly. You know, having an Xbox IP on PlayStation and Switch is going to be good for them, and they're
Yes.
going to want it to sell everywhere. So I think whether or not you think it's going to go out and die in Q1 of 2020 on the Switch, I think Microsoft has other plans to say, hey, we need this game to sell on Switch because this is our IP now, and we have good connections with Nintendo. So they're going to help the private division really push this game on Switch, and they're going to make it run good, well enough to have on Switch. Because like I just really think that Xbox has a good IP in the Outer Worlds, and
Yeah.
I this is just free advertising for them, and they would be dumb not to try to at least get people to think about double dipping with this.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
sorry,
And that's
sorry,
no.
I was like, I
You
was kind
you
of meandering my thoughts through words, and it
no.
just didn't come
You
out right the
literally.
first time.
I mean, you literally are like, I agree with you, and that's why I feel like they gotta come out hard. My worry is that people are going to skip it because they already got their feel of the game on Xbox and PS4 and PC, and you already got Animal Crossing. You probably got some indies, and people are
Yeah,
getting ready for The Last of Us. And I'm just saying that if they really going to have to bring this in a Nintendo Direct, and they got to bring extra. Even if they do a physical version for Nintendo Switch, put in an art book, put in some stickers, put in something that is really going to make up for the time of this game
it'd
being
be
gone.
really cool what they would include, which I would get a physical version for if they did, would be like, how everything is like that retro future look in
Hmm.
it. Like if they
Yes.
just had like postcards with like the corporation logos, or like some of the items you find in the game, like those logos, or just some futuristic like retro future postcards with logos and symbols and stuff on them, I think would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and even the reversible cover would also be cool.
Yeah.
Like really make up the time and give it to those Nintendo fans who have waited for this game to play it. Just don't put it in a box with a card and be like, "Oh, it's out."
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand your concern about it maybe not selling, but like there there's plenty of games out there that have been late to Switch with other big games around it that have sold well, and it has the backing of Xbox now. So I kind of just assume it's going to sell. At least it's going to sell okay on Switch.
Oh,
so
yes.
All right. Well, those are the news bits for this week. Instead of question block, which, like we discussed, we're going to have a full question block episode for you guys next week. We're gonna talk about the Nintendo Switch and what it's kind of become 3 years after it was announced. October was the 3-year anniversary of the announcement of the Switch, and I kind of want to talk about this a couple weeks ago, but we had a lot of questions to get through and news and stuff, so I figure we can just talk about it now. What was your first thought when you saw the Switch? Because like we had kind of been hearing that, you know, codename NX was a handheld console hybrid that you would plug into your TV, but we really didn't know how it was going to work, and like was it just going to be like a big tablet that you just plugged into your TV? Like when you saw that first commercial, what was your first thought of the Switch?
I literally lost my mind and was like super happy because it like just seeing how I could play these big games on the go and play this on my TV, and you know, me being just a really big Nintendo fan, still a big Nintendo fan. I was just like,
you're a huge Nintendo fan.
I was like, the possibilities that can happen. Like, and then when they took the Joy-Cons off and handed to the other player, I was just like, oh, this is going to sell major. This is going to do a lot. And even before like looking at the games, just the idea of taking these controllers off and handing it to another person and, you know, playing the games and stuff like that. Because my thing definitely for me was just like, as a person at that time in retail, seeing this, I have to sell this. So I have to come up with an idea on how I speak about the system and sell it to people. You know, like I would never expect for Nintendo to continue to be innovative in the way that they are, that they were just like, you know, we mix two things that we are really well talented at and put them together, and here you guys go. You have more options now to play a Nintendo console. You know, when people were just like, well, the Wii U failed and all, I'm just like, don't forget, Nintendo builds off of any kind of failure that they have been given. They build off of it, and then they learn they learn the pros and cons, and they use that information, I think, to their advantage to make something that's going to still feel unique. Like Switch is very unique. It's something that I don't think Microsoft and Sony were willing to do, and not because, you know, how like Smart Glass and PSP and Vita, not because of those things, but Microsoft and Sony have been stuck in a rut with their consoles, and they I don't feel like they'll ever be able to evolve gaming like Nintendo has evolved gaming. So like seeing Switch, I was just like, Nintendo once again is on another level. They're taking a risk that these other companies will never do, and I can't wait to see how things play out. And then, you know, we start seeing all of these directs throughout the years. We start seeing how indies are putting their games in AAA, taking a seat, you know, saying that no, we're not going to really do anything, but we love the fact that our employees are bringing it. And once they see those indies on Switch sell like crazy, even with the Nintendo tax or whatever, seeing how physical is going out the door, they start paying attention. And Bethesda literally took that step to make the Nintendo Switch be like, this is the system that y'all third party people need to get on, because y'all not supporting it. The fans on the system is feeding our pockets.
Yeah, I mean, I think the a lot of third parties were skeptical, and rightly so because of what happened with the Wii U, right? Like, I know we love the Wii U. Like, I still love the Wii U. I think it's a great console. It's like, to this day, like, you know, it took almost 2.5 years of Switch games to really make me be like, if I could only have one Nintendo console for the rest of my life, right?
It'd be the Switch.
Well, up until like, Fire Emblem and, now Luigi's Mansion is coming and Gods and Monsters looks awesome next year. There's a couple games that I'm looking forward to, right? Like, it probably would have been the Wii U, right? It has my three favorite Zelda games on it: Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker. It has my favorite Mario game in 3D World. It has a fantastic Pikmin game. It has my favorite Assassin's Creed 4. Has my favorite Batman game on it, the Arkham Origins. Although I think Asylum is better, but you know what I mean. Like it has two great Batman games on it. It has two awesome Darksiders games on it, right? Like, Bayonetta 2 is on there. Bayonetta, well, 1 and 2, I guess now, right? Like, they came together, I think. It's, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is amazing. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Like, Xenoblade Chronicles X and Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Yoshi's Woolly World. Like, I think the Wii U is a phenomenal console, and I don't like, it's still kind of like, it has a great 2D Mario game in New Super Mario Brothers U, right? Like, that's why all these great Wii U games are heading to Switch, because they're great games,
Yeah.
And like, I'm still boggled. Like, I don't really understand why the Wii U wasn't as successful. I mean, like, I get like the marketing and stuff behind it was kind of like, well,
it really, like I said, it really wasn't the marketing. Third party.
It was the marketing. Like, the
I
Wii U,
think-
like, I think that first image. You know how many people didn't even know the Wii U existed like 2 years after it was out, because they thought it was just a tablet for the Wii?
Well, but that's parents. That's parents listening to kids and not doing their research, in a sense.
But the thing is like, you shouldn't have to do research to know that there's a new console in the market. Like, if you listen to your kids, like, I can tell you, my parents.
That's gonna be a good discussion we'll have to have.
Yeah,
parents listen to kids.
We'll have this Wii U discussion on a different thing. But my point is like, up until like Fire Emblem came out, like, I could have told you that if you told me one Nintendo console for the rest of your life, I would have picked Wii U. But I think when the Switch got announced, I thought like it was such a big jump from the Wii U. Like, just aesthetically, like, it looked like a sexy piece of technology, instead of like, no offense to the Wii U, but the tablet looks like a Fisher-Price tablet, right? Like, it's plastic, and you see fingerprints all over it, and it just feels a little bit lighter than you want it to. The touch screen was not what you're used to on iPads or phones. Like, it just wasn't. It wasn't a piece of technology. It just felt like a toy, which is fine. Like, Nintendo's a toy company at the end of the day, right? Like, they're in the business of, hey, we want to make toys and sell them to kids, right? But like, it just took it a step too far. Whereas like the Wii, yeah, it was a toy, but like, the controllers looked like TV remotes, which got adults into it. The Wii Fit pad, like, was a workout thing for moms and other people who wanted to use it to try to lose weight, right? Like, they were aiming towards specific audiences with that, whereas like, I feel like the Switch really kind of, its focus was like people like us, right? Who are like, we still love Nintendo to an extent, I mean, we love Nintendo, but you know what I mean? Like, our age group, like, you still love Nintendo to an extent. You're kind of into what's happening technologically in the world. you still want to like play games, but you don't know where to play them. Like you don't really want another console, right? Like I think hitting uh, that hybrid style console really,
Mm-hmm.
really, really worked for them. And like it was always a split of like, okay, well, Nintendo's making all these great games, but you have to have two consoles for them. Like one's your handheld game and device, and the other's the console. But they don't really make the games that I kind of want. You know, they make Zelda and Mario, and I'll buy those. But like, there's no Call of Duty, there's no Assassin's Creed, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the way that people look at Nintendo that way.
I always say this. I always feel like this. Nintendo doesn't deliver trading games like Microsoft and Sony and AAA does. There are a limit of games that people will buy on those other consoles, and then that limited games that they buy, you see 55 plus some copies all on the shelf at GameStop or whoever taking used games. And so the price of that stuff is dropping. When you literally go look at a Nintendo game that's pretty used, whether it's an indie or AAA or first party, on pretty much on any of their systems, they're still higher price because not many people are trading them in for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even from this jump from Wii U to Switch, to me, that thing still happened. And Switch really changed it around because it really re-energized the indie scene. And for a system like this that be like where AAA is going to sit back and watch, indies started piling on it. And then when they started seeing physical and people buying cartridges and people buying these games and indie stuff, AAA started being like, okay, we still won't put it on. But now we're seeing, hold on, wait, we just released one of the AAA games. How the heck is this game that's been out on like this particular system? How's it selling 75,000 copies within the week? And we are only showing 15,000. Or, you know, we got to be on multiple systems, but this game is selling like bukus on Switch. And it just kept happening month after month after month, that these indie games were making a big deal on Nintendo's console. So they were thriving. And when they decided, I think it was certain AAA companies decided to take a chance on Nintendo Switch, they see that, okay, it don't have to be all cinematic and very graphical. You guys are buying Doom. Wait, you just made Doom go 1 million within 3 days? Like, that's like, you would never expect that something for that to happen on a Nintendo console. Why Wii U had this difficult time is because AAA wasn't given the fair share to Wii U. Now there's a lot of porting companies that are willing to take their AAA games, treat it with care, and put it on a console, and even update it when they need to update it and fix things. They're now seeing the rewards for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, if they would have did the same thing for Wii U, we might have not got Switch. So it is kind of a thank you to AAA for not giving us nothing, but boo for not giving us nothing. Thank you, because you made Nintendo do better and bring out a console that really just really not appealed, it starts with an A and I cannot think of it. Really just like showing what this system can do. And when it really did more business for indies and limited run games and all of these collectors who are doing stuff for it, AAA started to notice that if we could get a game on Switch, let's just see how you guys are really buying this game, really benefiting from it. So now, I think okay,
too, like, you know, you said that the indie scene is really benefiting from Switch, and like, I think especially in that first year they were too. Like, I think a lot of games were, third parties weren't really on board at first, right? Like we got some ports like the Rayman Legends port, which was very good.
Yeah.
And Ubisoft has done a pretty decent job of staying on board with Switch. Like, we got both South Park games, we got Rayman, we got 3 Assassin's Creed games now, with 4 and Rogue coming. And Bethesda's been a really strong partner for Nintendo. But, like, at first, like, it was Breath of the Wild, and, I think a lot of those games in that launch window got a lot of love, too, like Bomberman. Look how well Bomberman did. Like, I don't think Bomberman would do as well now if it came out now than it did at the beginning, right? But like just seeing Bomberman, and like it's actually a really good Bomberman game. It's not the best Bomberman game, but like if you have people over, it's a good time, right? And like I told you, my brother-in-law bought a Switch for Bomberman and Street Fighter, right? I mean, I think he did end up getting Zelda, but like it really hit an audience that was nostalgic for games that they played when they were younger, right? And just having Street Fighter a couple months in, and Bomberman at launch, and and another game that benefited from that too was ARMS, right? Like I don't think ARMS would sell as well now as it did when it came out. Not saying ARMS is a bad game, because I think I like ARMS a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, how much did I talk about ARMS when it came out? Yeah.
Dude, Puyo Puyo Tetris, a puzzle game that nobody would. Puyo Puyo Tetris shouldn't have been this successful. And I'm not even talking about this price. The hardcore audience don't care about puzzle games. Don't even know what Puyo Puyo is, and it's so like hotcakes on Switch.
I still don't know what Puyo Puyo is. I just play Tetris.
I mean, because Puyo Puyo is something in Japan. I mean, they brought it to Sega Genesis, but like really nobody knew about it. Why is this game selling like hotcakes? And it's sold on hotcakes like on Switch. It's still so crazy when the version for Xbox and PS4 came out. Like those games didn't even get touched. People would still buy the thing on Switch. Like, that's insane. Mm-hmm. A lot of genres that started coming over. PC stuff started coming over. Switch started building probably has a very big library within just 3 years. That you, as a gamer, who probably surprised that some of the stuff that you wouldn't touch, you got a collector's, you got the physical version. You got both versions, physical and digital, or you have a digital, to the point where you have to run out the store, get another SD memory card, and fill that one up with more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've upgraded my memory card 3 times on Switch, and I'm still like, I have a 512 gig memory card on my Switch, and I still delete stuff to make room for stuff all the time, because I mean, granted, I have a lot of big games on there like Doom and both Wolfenstein games, and Hellblade was pretty big, and Assassin's Creed is big. Like, there's a lot of big games on Switch. I could probably use a 1 terabyte when it's cheaper. I probably will get one. But I also have a lot of indie games, and I have a lot of Nintendo games, right? Like, I have been leaning more digital on Switch than I really would have liked to. I did have a huge physical collection at one point, but like, honestly, switching out cartridges, and I was really scared that my kid would put the cartridges in her mouth and she'd be the one kid in the world that likes how they taste. So my physical collection is actually pretty small now, but I still have all my games digitally, even the ones I have physical, and like, it's just amazing how this small little system, like it still puts out a fantastic, like, even like the fidelity very rarely drops from moving from the TV to handheld, and vice versa, right? Like that's like the one amazing thing is like Nintendo's been so good at handheld games for so long that, like, seeing Breath of the Wild on a tiny screen and on the TV screen, like, in the same fidelity is phenomenal, right? Seeing Mario Odyssey run at 60 frames a second on your TV is phenomenal, right? Like, I can't say enough good things, at least about Nintendo's first party, but also like Katana Zero, Shovel Knight, Hook, like how like there's weird games that pop up on the eShop every day, right? And like Hook is one of those games that we got, no pun intended, but we got hooked on, right? Like it's a fun little puzzle game that was $2 on the eShop. And there's games like that all the time. There's games on the eShop right now for like 50 cents.
And like there's I think Game Informer did it, or there was a story about that it's good that you mentioned that price thing, that when they brought that, when that first came out, barely anybody noticed it. It appeared on Switch for 25 cents, some random indie game, and 15,000 folks downloaded. Like,
yeah, I mean, like when you put an indie game on, like you go into deals, right? I go into deals a lot on Switch just to see like what weird indie games that are $10 or $15, and they drop the price to 99 cents just to sell a couple copies, right? Like there are some weird games on there, like that Astro Bear game, where it's just like it's like this weird party game about bears in spacesuits, and it's a party game, and it's been like $4 or $5 a few times. It's just weird. It's so weird. I've gotten games for like $3 and $4. Like Bastion and Transistor were $3 and $4. Two of the best Supergiant games, right? Like Bastion is an amazing action RPG that you should play.
And people went to Limited Run and got those games physically.
Mm-hmm. Like even if the games are cheaper digitally, right?
Yes.
Like a lot of games are. Like Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is $30 digitally, and it's $40 physically. People are still buying the physical copies for $10 more because it's Nintendo still has that nostalgic collector's feeling, and it's like something I've really tried to talk myself out of this gen, even though it's like super hard, right? Like on Xbox and PlayStation, I've gone totally digital, right? I own maybe like 5 or 6 physical copies total for those systems. But for Switch, it's like, oh man, I have a huge Wii U physical collection. I have a big Wii collection. I have a huge GameCube and N64 collection. Like, it's really hard when you get in that Nintendo mentality not to buy physical. And like, I have Zelda physical. I have Mario physical. Like I have the games I love physically, but like, just
it Switch within 3 years transformed into, get this, a console, handheld, an arcade machine, a PC machine, an indie machine.
Speaking of
esports,
speaking of like the arcade stuff, like literally you can turn the Switch sideways and play arcade games vertically, like vertical shooters, Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Like you get that Namco Museum collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can play almost every single one of those games vertically, which is awesome.
Especially with the Switch grip. Like this, like that thing. Lucky I got mine and everything. Like that thing is awesome. It literally makes you feel like you're playing an arcade game. And we haven't, and I know we'll probably be going soon, we haven't even touched on how important importing on Switch does. That people were still importing games. Like even before Kamiko came out, people were able to find a way to get their games to buy Japanese games. Mm-hmm. And then like 2 days later, the game gets released on Switch in America. And it's like people going to buy that version. Like it's literally crazy on what Nintendo Switch is. From the premise of taking it anywhere you want, taking the Joy-Cons and sharing it, it has turned into more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely sitting at what 42 million units sold in less than 3 years is pretty phenomenal, especially since the PlayStation 4 just passed 103 million.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago, like, and that took when did it come out? 2013, so 6 years to do that, and Switch is on pace to do that too. So like I think the Switch is something special, and I think Nintendo really hit on the Switch. Like I really hope they just keep with this formula, and the Switch is kind of iterated on instead of coming out with a new console in 3 or 4 years. I think they've said as much. I think Nintendo's kind of said as much. They want to iterate on it and kind of keep the success going, and kind of do different things with a Switch family of systems instead of having splitting the audience. Like we have the Switch Lite now, and we have the new Switch model that has the improved battery life and
Yes.
stuff like that. So they're making incremental changes, which I think will preserve the life of the system. And the way that Nintendo really has embraced indies and really pushed first party games.
Yes.
I think people use the Switch as their indie and Nintendo first party machine, and kind of revitalize people's interest in indie games, to be 100% honest. I know Xbox has ID at Xbox and puts a lot of the indie games on Game Pass. I downloaded After Party, which is coming to Switch soon, but it's on Game Pass, and I think PlayStation has kind of abandoned indies, to be as far as I'm aware, following their marketing and stuff. Like, they really just want to push their own first party single player games, which is fine. That's what they're choosing to do and build their platform on. And Xbox is building it on Game Pass and their first party,
Yes.
and hopefully the indie presence of Game Pass is holding it, which I think there's a lot of great indie games on Game Pass. But I really think the Switch has revitalized people's interest in smaller games and indie games, and made people more interested in Nintendo's first party games. This Fire Emblem is the best selling Fire Emblem to date, right? Luigi's Mansion is on pace to be the best in that franchise. Mario Odyssey is the second best selling Mario game at this point.
I think so.
In terms of like the 3D Mario games, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, best selling Zelda. All the franchises on the Switch are best selling. So
even like early access games, like, of course I'm gonna have to talk about Dead Cells. Like, people were just like, okay, it's cool, I'll get it on Switch, of course, but I'm not going to get the digital version. I'm going to get the physical, and people rush to get the physical. Like you would not expect anything like that to ever happen on a Nintendo console. That people were willing to skip the first release of a game digitally to get the later edition physically. Like, I mean, skipping the digital to get the physical, and then going back to get the digital because they made it cheaper or they put it on sale.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that all games that got ported to Switch were out the box. They knocked it out the box. Rhyme had a problem when it came out. Like, it took a while. Bloodstain, that had problems until now it got patched. Like, there's been some stumbles, but there's also been some greatness on Switch. And within 3 years, you can't say that Switch don't have one game that defines the system, because there's too many to name. There's too many to place. Whether it's good, bad, mediocre, it's a surprise game that you wouldn't expect. Nintendo Switch, just within 3 years and counting, you would not expect that. Hey, everybody wanted Cuphead. Microsoft was able to give that to Nintendo Switch, and it not only did it reach over the pre-orders day by day, but it hit number one for a good 2 weeks until the game came out, and then stayed number one. That's insane. Like you would think that the stuff wouldn't work, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
So from what Nintendo's vision was, their vision has grown and kind of changed how we play and take in games. And even if you don't like Nintendo Online, you cannot deny that Nintendo Online and the Super Nintendo games are great reminders of games that we played in the past and what made some of these series classic. And they look good on HD TV, so the emulation is good.
Yeah. Just to kind of wrap things up here and kind of get out of here, I think the Switch is a great platform that's really embraced the future of gaming while sticking to what makes Nintendo and
Yes.
really, giving us new experiences of our favorite franchises and really just moving it all forward and making them something special. So
Hey, for the last 10 years, they had a Game of the Year nomination, and it's been hard to choose which one it is.
and this year is not going to be any different. What is it like? Luigi's Mansion and Fire Emblem, I think, are two sure shots right now.
Link's Awakening, Astral Chain is probably the third one.
Yeah, I think Astral Chain is not like, people weren't expecting it to be good, but I think it's a lot better than people were expecting. So anyways, we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember to email us at nintendopalblock@gmail.com your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas. We are doing a question block episode. Ed, I think we're going to record that tomorrow. We decided along with some retro games show. If you haven't been checking out our retro game show, we really would like you to go check it out on the NX Project's YouTube page, not Facebook page, YouTube page, and the website's being reworked for our new stuff. So the website's kind of down for the moment, but stay tuned for that stuff. I'm really excited not to be tired for next week's episode, Ed. I know the last couple weeks I've been extremely tired and extremely kind of anxious and stressed about a lot of things, and I'm really ready for that to be over. And I know it comes out when I'm talking. I can feel it, but I really appreciate everybody watching. Our numbers are higher than they've been than they ever have been. So I'm very appreciative of people listening. So anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @RetroCode. You can find Optional Opinion on SoundCloud. And everybody, be ready for our big reveal in the coming weeks. And also check us out on the NX show.
Yeah. The NX show, if you are interested in other games besides Nintendo games, that's where we talk about that stuff.
Yes.
So,
also
in the coming weeks on the NX show, I will be talking about Disney Plus and a couple other things. So,
and also you guys can check me out on Mixer at The Lyrical One and on Twitch as The Lyrical One also for PS4 and Xbox gameplay, if you guys care.
Yeah. And you can find me at CoreyHD713 on Twitter. You can find me at CoreyHD on Instagram and Mixer. You can also find me on the NX show and various other content that we are producing. Like I said, I really appreciate it if you guys would check out the Nintendo Power Block Retro Game Show that we have been doing. We're playing through A Link to the Past, and we got a few more episodes to record tomorrow too, Ed. So I'm very excited about that as well, because I love it when I get to watch you play retro games, because it's fun. It's fun for me.
Yes, we're getting close to one of my favorite dungeons, and I can't wait.
And then I figured out that if you click the right stick, you can applaud. So I always clap for Ed when he dies. It's a good time. So,
this is revenge, everybody, for a certain thing.
It is.
You have to go and watch our Super Mario Brothers 3 and enjoy.
To be fair, the controller buttons are not the same, and there's a little bit of lag on the NES games. So. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we love you.
Bye, everybody. Woohoo!